Hey guys, it's me again. And I know it's been a while since I made a video like this, and even as of like right now, as I'm recording this, I feel weird like coming back to making a video like this since I haven't made a video in like so long. And yeah, I want to tell you guys a story that happened quite recent. Not too recent, but like a month or so ago, it's not a long story, it's a rather short story. So yeah, here's a story of me. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys a story of how I started like recently talking to someone, but I guess it didn't really work out. So yeah. So this takes place about like a month or so ago. And I'm not gonna really go off like topic here, but well, here's some backstory, or some lore to this story, I guess. There's this local arcade that me and my friend would often go to. Just usually just to hang out, just have fun, play the arcade games, like what any other person would do in an arcade. And now back to the story. The arcade that I would go to, this one day, I guess my friend just happened to just not be free that day, and I just went to the arcade by myself since I just happened to be in the area, and I just wanted to kill time since I really didn't had nothing else to do with my life. Um, so in the arcade, right? I would check in like what games they had. Sometimes I would go to the claw machines and see like if there's any plushes that like really catch my attention. Fun fact about me, I'm really good in like in the claw machine, and yeah, you'd be surprised though. Yeah, so in this day, the claw machines that were filled in just happened to be like these themed like these little mini like Sonic the Hedgehog like chibi plushes, and I was able to get the whole set like with ease. And since I was able to get like the whole set, plus extras, I had a hard time like trying to carry like the plushes, with my own two hands. So I needed like a bag or something. So I asked an employee for a bag, right? And just before like I asked like the employee for a bag, right, I saw like this really cute girl that kind of caught my attention. And this is where the story takes place. As I saw this cute girl, right, I wanted to make a first impression, try to make conversation with her. But unfortunately, she was working with other customers. And so for the time being, I would like roam around the whole arcade and see if there was any other games that caught my attention. Needless to say, I've already played the arcade games prior to seeing her. So yeah, that wasn't no good. So after she was finished with like talking with all the customers and she was by herself, like in that booth or whatever, like where they give out like prizes, they scan in your cards or whatnot. Um, I wanted to see if I can like talk to her. So what I did was, as I mentioned earlier, I won like these little like mini like Sonic the Hedgehog plushes from the claw machine. I got the whole set plus extras, and I was able to get a bag from like the coworker. And so what I did was when I first like started talking to her and see like I wanted to ask her, is there a way by any chance if she can take care of like the plushes as I go to the restroom or whatnot? But in reality, I just went to the restroom just to contemplate and see like what should I say? What should I uh like what would be a good first like move to say or whatnot and blah blah blah, after she gives me the bag. And that's what I did. So as I got back from the restroom from like contemplating and whatnot, I said like, oh, thank you for taking care of these and blah blah blah. Then it just came like in my mind naturally. I didn't thought of it like as I was contemplating, it just came like out of nowhere. I said like, oh, like, are you new here and whatnot? um she said, yeah, I started working here like 2 weeks ago and blah blah blah. Oh really? Because like I come here very often, I haven't seen you here. I'm usually like here with my friend and whatnot, since I mentioned I come here with my friend. um yeah, there was like this other coworker that we used to talk to, blah blah blah, he doesn't work here no more. I mentioned like his name and whatnot, and it was like, and she was like kind of like wondering like, I don't think I've ever heard of like someone working here with that name. Oh, she just happened to just leave like at least like a month or so prior to you, like, I guess, started working here and whatnot. And I guess I just told her like, oh, how do you like it so far? Yeah, I like it so far, it's pretty good, and blah blah blah. We just made like little small talk, and pretty much I would say like like I'm here very often, with like me and my friend. If I see you around, yeah, we'll just I'll say hi and whatnot, and she was kind of like the same thing, like too, and that was like the first conversation that we had. We introduced ourselves, and that was it. So we started talking for 2, 3 weeks, and during that time, 4th of July just happened to just take place throughout those 2 or 3 weeks that we were talking. And I don't remember like the day that I came in, but it took place like after the 4th of July. So I came into the arcade, right, and she just happened to just be there. We just started talking, blah blah blah, like how our day was, and I asked like, what'd you do for 4th of July. And this is where like I wanted to find out if she was single or in a relationship. So I asked her, oh, did you happen to spend 4th of July with like friends or with family or with a partner? You know, um, just try to like find out, from there. And she just said, no, unfortunately, I have to work in 4th of July. I stayed until midnight and blah, 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 things like that. And I was like, ah, dang it, like I really did want to find out if she was like single or whatnot. So we just started talking and we kind of went our ways and we said bye after, well, before I left the arcade, of course. And yeah, that's what happened there. Not knowing that our last like interaction would be the second to last like conversation we'd ever have. Um, Now the next time, which I'm gonna tell you guys right now, would be the last like time I would ever like talk to her and whatnot. And so I went to the arcade. This took place about like a week or so. Sorry, I thought I saw a car coming this way. This took place about like a week or so after like our last encounter, or close to a week. I'm not so sure. I can't really like confirm that. So, anyways, so I saw her, right, and we started talking. Like the usual. Like how our day was. What our plans are for the weekend, things like that. And as I'm trying to talk to her and get to know her more as a person. Um, Sorry, I don't know why I just think that there was somebody right there. Anyways, as I'm trying to talk to her and get to know her more as a person, I asked like, like what was her last job prior to working at the arcade, and she told me she used to work at like this place. I forgot what the name was, but she said that she really liked it there and the pay was really great. But unfortunately, she was laid off since the company was like downsizing, and only through her friend, she was able to get a job at the arcade, and that's where she was working. And throughout our time, like talking to each other. And I guess this is the part where like I tried to like make a move, I guess, or uh try to ask her out and whatnot, and blah 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 blah. I forgot like where the area where like her job was at, or her old job was at, and I said like, oh, like, if you want, we can go there sometime. You can show me around and blah blah blah. And she was like, yeah, like for sure and blah blah blah. Yeah, it didn't sound like kind of a confident, like for sure. Like I kind of like was kind of thinking like, that didn't sound like a for real, like for sure, in my mind. But I didn't want to make it like weird or awkward, so I pretty much like asked like, hey, do you have like a Snapchat and blah blah blah. And she said like, oh, like I don't use like social media and things like that. And I said like not to make it like weird or whatnot, or try not to make it as awkward as possible. Like I said, like, oh, like I don't use social media either, but I have a Snapchat, since apparently like people use Snapchat to text each other. And from there, this is where we kind of like, or I guess like this is where I try to like change the topic, since I really didn't want this conversation to go like awkward. So that's what I did. So in order for me to change the conversation, as I was already getting awkward as it already is, I tried to change the topic to saying things like, oh, like since you work in an arcade, do you happen to play like any video games by any chance? And she said no. And then I asked like something similar to it. Do you happen to like watch anime and whatnot? And she also said no. And I kid you not, like almost like every little thing that I would say like, oh, like of interest that she may have liked, she would just say like no. And I say, do you ever like go out to places, see with friends? Um, this is like where I find out that well, what she said was, I do like sometimes go to like rave parties and whatnot, and um but not as much anymore since I recently like had a kid and he's like 3 months old. And this is where I kind of just like froze, and I was just like in my mind like, Like, are you serious? And this was kind of like an indicator where I kind of found out that either A, she's with someone and happened to had a kid with this guy, or B, the guy must have left, since they always do that whenever like the girl gets pregnant and have a kid. You know, it's common. You know, she is single and she is not really looking for a relationship, and it's most likely it's probably from all the above. You know, like it could either be both. You know, since I'm really don't know what her life is like outside of work. So yeah, that's when I kind of found out an indication right there that she's probably not really looking for anybody. And also, every single question that I asked, like that I asked her, see if she ever liked that interest, she would just say no, and she would just be like pretty much dry. And yeah, so that's kind of what happened there. And as we were talking, every single time we would talk, right, she would always have like this walkie-talkie, not walkie-talkie, but she would have a walkie-talkie. Well, she did, but in like in her pants and whatnot, and she would have like a speaker or something, you know, whenever like a coworker would say like, "Hey, I like back to work" and whatnot. I guess this is like since our conversation was like really getting kind of awkward, it just wasn't going anywhere. Supposedly she said like, "Oh, you know, like they're calling me to go work at like in my booth or whatnot," but like right away I kind of just assumed like, yeah, that's just BS. You know, she's just lying just to get away from this conversation. And yeah, you know, and that was that. And not knowing this would be the last time I would ever talk to her. You know, I have been to the arcade since then, but I've not seen her, and most likely or just gonna assume she doesn't really work there anymore. So that was that. You know, that's the story of how I started talking to someone, but it didn't go well. Um, what's kind of crazy about like this this time that I started talking to someone, that I didn't get faced by it. I didn't get sad from it, you know. Prior like interactions I've had from the past women that I would talk to, I would get sad because either like A, they would lose interest in me, or B, like we would be talking, right, and then all of a sudden they'd be going out with some guy, or C, they would just lead me on and just like ghost me altogether, you know. But this time was different, you know, like I didn't get phased by it, you know. One of the rare moments that I actually started talking with a girl, like I actually had the balls to make conversation and whatnot, and I guess it actually kind of went well. I mean, of course, it didn't. I didn't went out like I didn't started dating her, but like this is the first time I started seeing some progress and whatnot, and you know, it's probably not gonna go as planned, but it kind of made me more like wiser and whatnot, and yeah, you know, I guess it was a good like learning experience, I guess. And yeah, you know, one of the rare times like it didn't go south, you know. And yeah, sorry about the short video, guys. It really wasn't much of a story, but I just wanted to share you guys like what happened recently, in case like anyone was curious, like, have you been talking to any other girls? And yeah, this is actually the first time in a while I haven't been talking to anyone. But yeah, again, sorry for the short video, but yeah. Also, I forgot to mention like in the update video, like near the end, I forgot to say this one part. I have to be like really, really, really careful on like what I say now, since a lot of people can like misinterpret the things that I could say. Like whenever I say something, it doesn't go how how I say things in my mind, you know, how the other person perceives it from their perspective, you know. So I gotta be like really, really careful with that. And yeah, you know, not really like much of a, you know, like up to date video, but yeah. I also had like another question like on my like one of the comments or whatnot. One of the person like a person asked me if I would ever like re-upload the videos. It's not that I would ever like re-upload the videos. The thing is, I just don't really want to go through like the whole like doxing thing, or like the whole threats or the whole hate and whatnot. You know, I'd just rather not risk that. And I guess some things were just kept to be hidden, you know. You know, it's just the end of an era and whatnot. You know, that's why I kind of made like this new channel. You know, I wanted to try something different, and yeah. Um, like I will post some like life updates here and there, but like in terms of like me trying to talk to like past experiences from like the past stories I talked to and whatnot, I don't really think those are kind of coming back unless like there's a huge demand for them. I do have like at least like two or three like unreleased videos that were like fully edited and they were ready to be uploaded but never saw the light of day due to the hate and whatnot or the whole like Yesca's fiasco thing. So yeah, like not sure if you guys like want to see like those videos. Let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in seeing like the unreleased videos. But yeah, um yeah, so that was it, you know and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.